That was FBI Director Kash Patel celebrating with the American hockey team. As you can see, just high spirits. I mean, this was a legendary game. This was the first time in 46 years that the U.S. hockey team won gold at the Olympics. Of course, the last time was in 1980, that legendary miracle on ice. So no wonder everyone is so thrilled. And to be very clear, Kash Patel was invited by the hockey team. He didn't just show up randomly. But the Democrats, the media, they're acting as if Kash Patel broke a law here, as if he's doing something gravely wrong and is threatening the integrity of the United States. I don't know, maybe the media and the Democrats would have been happier instead if Kash Patel used taxpayer dollars to, fly to El Salvador to meet with an MS-13 gang member and have martinis. Maybe if Kash Patel did that instead, the media would have given him a pass. But here, they're acting as if he's stealing taxpayer dollars to go party over at the Olympic Village. That is not the case. As usual, when it comes to these types of controversies and outrage, there is a lot more to this than meets the eye. So this whole controversy really took off when an author from ProPublica, William Turton, posted this on X. A source sent me this video of FBI Director Kash Patel partying with the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team. First of all, it's funny that he says a source sent me this video, as if he has the inside scoop and he's exposing and busting open corruption at the FBI. As you could probably tell based on the vertical nature of the video, that was originally live streamed on social media. Yeah, it was broadcast for the entire world to see. So no, you did not have an exclusive scoop. But ProPublica does have a huge reach, and unfortunately, because he framed it in that way, it turned into this huge controversy. I mean, just take a look at the very bottom here. In just 20 hours, this post alone has garnered 23 million impressions. Of course, it's not just going viral on social media. On MS Now, they had a complete meltdown over Kash Patel celebrating this historic USA hockey win.
What's Patel have to say to all this backlash?
Well, Chris, he's not apologizing. In fact, he's saying that his friends on the men's Olympic hockey team, all of whom are NHL players, invited him into the locker room after the game. But look, nobody believes that Kash Patel would have been in that locker room were he not the FBI director. And he flew over there, as you said, on the taxpayer's dime in a private jet. And when did he decide to take this trip? Did he decide when he realized that the U.S. team was going to be in the medal round? In fact, there's a rule that the FBI agents should not be drinking while on the job. And so a lot of people today, even supporters of Donald Trump and supporters of Kash Patel, are privately questioning whether this was a good idea, Chris.
Those would be good points if it weren't for the fact that they left out a lot of details. Now, Kash Patel is there on a work trip, and that trip had been scheduled far in advance, and clearly when he's celebrating with players, he is not actively on the job. You are FBI director 24/7, sure, but that doesn't mean that you're on the clock 24/7. There's the saying, work hard, play hard. Yes, he may have the job title FBI Director 24/7, but guess what? That doesn't mean he's literally on the clock 24/7. That doesn't mean that he's working every waking hour. Even an FBI director is allowed to take time off, take personal time, at the very least to prevent burnout. Wouldn't you want that so that you have someone who is not only capable, but in the state of mind to do the job properly? And again, let's not forget, he was there on a work trip. Team USA happened to win. They invited him. There's a lot more details, which I'll share with you later in the video. And by the way, let's not forget the climate in which all of this happened, because just a few short weeks ago at the Olympic opening ceremonies, after that, remember what happened? There were multiple American athletes who went out there and said, oh, I'm ashamed of America. Things are dark here. We have a tough political climate. I'm ashamed of the administration. They don't speak for me. It was just bash, bash, bash. Just a side note, most of those athletes who bashed the country did very poorly in their individual sports. Compare that to the U.S. hockey team. They were all proud to be Americans. They said, we are proud to represent our country. They fought a hard game. It was a thrilling game. It went into overtime and against a great opponent. So, of course, they're thrilled. And once they won, they said, hey, we want to celebrate. Hey, people from the administration are here. Let's invite them over. What is so wrong with that? It is not just MS Now, not just CNN. This is also going viral among liberal pundits and podcasters. Take a look. The irony here of what Don Lemon says.
They'll just ain't used to shit. Have you ever heard that? I used to hear that growing up when people were like not used to things, like not used to being in certain places or in the presence of certain people, just not used to having things. That's what this administration is about. And specifically, I'm talking about Kash Patel, who's over in Italy partying with the hockey players who won, and they're celebrating. You're the head of the FBI, dude. Why are you even there? And most likely on taxpayer dollars. Well, yes, of course on taxpayer dollars. Probably on the plane, which he has been in trouble for, which he has been scrutinized for. This administration is so tacky. I know that Donald Trump, they say he's a wealthy man or whatever. He's made billions off of the presidency. But him too. Like, you people have no class. It's just gross. And the sad thing is that we are paying for it as tax dollars.
Don Lemon, you want to talk about having no class? You want to talk about being gross? You're the guy who knew that protesters were going to storm a church in Minnesota. You kept silent. You crossed state lines, you went there to record it, and not only did you record it, but many people thought that you were part of the group. Talk about gross and just lacking class whatsoever. Well, the sad thing for the media here is that before they ran all of these hit pieces on Kash Patel, they actually reached out to his office. And guess what? His office attempted to set the record straight. And we have the email receipts to prove it. So on the left side, his office wrote to a journalist, "Hey, Carol, this is not correct." They were planning a hit piece on Patel, and they were asking for a statement, and his office, again, setting the record straight. "This is not correct. On background, while we do not comment on travel for security purposes, we have multiple partner and counterpart meetings, including the ambassador, MOU signings, LEGAT meetings, security briefings, and more. You may remember in January, the ambassador hosted us in Houston for a law enforcement partner roundtable. Any personal portion, such as meeting with the hockey players, would be reimbursed, but I'm only tracking the official meetings. It is not accurate to say he's flying out on government funds for a personal trip. I'd also note this, like all trips, was planned months in advance." Now, it is important to note the date here, because Kash Patel's office sent this to the journalists, two journalists here, on February 19. Well, just 3 days later, despite the fact that the office told him otherwise, the journalists published this: "Tonight, our story. FBI told us Kash Patel was only going to the Olympics for meetings, not for the hockey games, but he attended the games and ended up chugging beer with players. Taxpayers paid a lot for this fanboy's dream." They never said any of that. In fact, they said the exact opposite. That was published on February 22nd. I would also like to point out that the day before that, on the 21st, Patel posted this himself on his X account. "Great visit with the Milan Joint Operations Center, yada, yada, yada." You can pause this to read it. But again, he shows photos of him doing official FBI business. So not only does that corroborate what his office said, saying he went there for business, he did said business, and then on his time off, he did personal stuff. And that time off was not paid for by the taxpayers. And because he flew there for official business, it only makes sense that the taxpayer would have paid for that flight. I mean, am I missing something here? I don't get what the controversy is. The reality is the media and the Democrats, they have put impossible standards, not just on President Trump, but everyone in his administration. So, for example, there was an attempted assassination of President Trump this past weekend, right? The Secret Service ended up shooting someone who was attempting to break into Mar-a-Lago. He was armed. He had a gas can. It turned out President Trump wasn't at Mar-a-Lago at the time. And so many people have been criticizing Kash Patel. Well, shouldn't he be on the ground at Mar-a-Lago? Shouldn't he be spearheading this investigation? I would just like to point out that all of the same people criticizing Kash Patel for not being on the ground at Mar-a-Lago just a few months ago were criticizing him for being on the ground for Charlie Kirk's assassination. Yeah, he can't win. You can't have it both ways. NBC News actually ran an entire article about how former senior FBI officials were criticizing Patel. Quote, "No serious director would show up at this stage," the former senior FBI official said. "They can't help. They can only distract. Every agent needed to support the visit is an agent not available to work the case." So no matter what he does, no matter what people in the administration do, they are just going to be held to an impossible standard and be criticized for pretty much everything. Really, this is a non-story. The only reason that the media and the Democrats are going crazy on this right now is because the Democrat Party is imploding before our very eyes. They thought that they were going to have a banner week. AOC went over to the Munich Security Conference. Gretchen Whitmer was there. Gavin Newsom failed to start his book tour with racist comments. If you missed that, I made a video on it just earlier today. But the Democrats are clearly trying to distract from their failures. And perhaps the biggest one is the autopsy report. you may not remember, this happened late last year, but the DNC created this autopsy report basically going over the reasons why Kamala Harris lost the election. Now, they promised that they were going to release the report to the public, but it ended up being hidden. Unfortunately for them, there is a major update as of today.
Good afternoon to you. A pro-Palestinian advocacy group says it helped the Democratic National Committee examine what went wrong in the 2024 election. But after giving its advice, the group is now accusing the DNC of covering up what it found. Last year, DNC leaders pledged to release the so-called autopsy report. They wanted to make it public, but that never happened. The DNC later saying if they released the report, it would be a distraction from its core mission.
Well, unfortunately for them, Axios got its hands on the report, and they wrote, Democrats working on secret report found Gaza cost Harris votes. Specifically, they write, activists told the DNC that their support for Israel was a factor in the party's losses, and basically this cost them all the votes. So the key takeaway for the Democrats in 2028, if they want to win, according to this report, they better be very, very, very anti-Israel. Well, there is a huge, exciting update for the channel, but before we get to that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Super Romer and Dennis Nevin. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you enjoy. Well, over the next few weeks, I would like to come out with daily themes, and these will be things that I end the videos with. So one of the things I would like to start are Music Mondays, and this will be at the end of every Monday video going forward. A lot of you know, and a lot of you are new too, so you may not know, but I am a professional musician as well as an actor. I claim the title of actor most common, but I do play music professionally as well. And so I thought it would be fun if every Monday at the end of a video, I play a piano cover of songs that you guys request. So the rule is just leave a song request down in the comments. We'll do this every Monday. So next Monday, I will be playing the request that you leave down in the comments today. Does that make sense? Now, even though it is a new thing, a Music Monday, I did want to share something that happened at the White House. We can see the U.S. troops singing a cappella Amazing Grace. I thought this was a great musical moment.
One
chills. Just I literally have goosebumps, not acting in my overacting in my reaction, genuinely chills. Great performance. So yes, every Monday now moving forward, I will end videos playing a piano cover of any song that you guys request down in the comments. This will be an ongoing thing, and there are going to be multiple themes for every single day of the week. So Music Mondays moving forward, that will be a thing. What other days are coming soon? If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so you don't miss out on any of those fun things. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, what do you think about Kash Patel's trip? Do you agree that this was inappropriate, or do you think, hey, it's just they're blowing it out of proportion and I don't see what the big deal is? Let me know down in the comments below. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.